Good morning, beautiful people, and welcome to Freedom Friday's Inspirational Coffee Break with Patty, where every conversation begins with a cup of coffee and ends with encouragement. Go ahead and grab your favorite cup of coffee, your favorite cup of tea, or if you're feeling a little fancy, feel free to sip a little blueberry coffee with me. Before we get started, so many of you have asked about the blueberry coffee and where you may purchase it. I want to also add a disclaimer. This is not an advertisement. This is for informational purposes only. I simply decided to share it because so many of you have asked about it. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's move on to the real reason we've come together at the table this morning. Today is Freedom Friday, and we're continuing our Faith Over Fear series. Did you know that a person can be physically imprisoned, yet completely free in their mind because of faith? And did you know that a person can be physically free, yet completely imprisoned in their mind because of fear? Think about that for a moment. The Apostle Paul and Silas were sitting in a prison cell. Their hands were bound, their feet were bound, their circumstances looked hopeless. Yet Acts 16 and 25 tells us, at midnight Paul and Silas prayed and sang praises unto God, and the prisoners heard them. Their bodies were confined, but their faith was free. Their circumstances were difficult, but their minds were not imprisoned by fear. And because they trusted God, God showed up. The Bible tells us in Acts 16 and 26, and suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundations of the prison were shaken. And immediately all the doors were opened, and everyone's bands were loosed. Friends, many people today are walking around with no chains on their hands, no bars around them, no prison walls surrounding them, yet they're trapped by fear, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of change, fear of what people think, or fear of the future. Fear has become the prison. Now, let's take this a step further this morning. Many people are praying for freedom. They're praying for financial freedom, personal freedom, more time with their family, praying for a better quality of life, praying for opportunities to work for themselves, and praying for doors to open. But when God presents an opportunity, fear talks them out of it. Fear says, what if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I'm not qualified? Or one of the biggest contenders, what if I don't know enough? Friends, faith asks a different question. What if God sent this opportunity? What if this is the answer I've been praying for? What if this is the door God is opening? What if God is calling me to trust Him on another level? You see, sometimes the very freedom we're praying for is standing on the other side of our faith. The enemy, our flesh, doesn't always have to stop us. Sometimes all he has to do is keep us afraid, afraid to move, afraid to try, afraid to trust, afraid to believe God for more. And before we know it, opportunities have passed us by because fear made the decision. Friends, faith doesn't mean you have all the answers. Faith means you trust God enough to take the next step. That's why 2 Timothy 1 and 7 reminds us, for God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Did you catch that? Fear didn't come from God. Power came from God. Love came from God. A sound mind came from God. And if God didn't give us fear, we don't have to live under its control. Jesus said in John 8 and 36, if the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. Real freedom is not determined by your circumstances. Real freedom is determined by who you trust. So today's reminder is simple. You may not be able to control everything happening around you, but you can choose whether faith or fear controls what's happening within you. Choose faith, choose freedom, choose to trust God, because where faith lives, freedom follows, and where fear rules, bondage remains. If this Freedom Friday Inspirational Coffee Break with Patty encouraged you this morning, go ahead and click like, subscribe, share, and follow. No worries, it's free. And I'll see you tomorrow morning for another Inspirational Coffee Break with Patty. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. Have a blessed Freedom Friday on purpose. Comment freedom if you're choosing faith over fear today, and if you'd like to explore time freedom, personal freedom, and financial freedom. I'd be honored to share some information with you. Just say more.